to this school, to this county. It's a really cool opportunity to have.
Jefferson College is hosting a pregame party starting at 5:30 with free food and giveaways. Vikings take on Southwestern Illinois College starting at 7. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
At 6:08, let's get a check of traffic with Roger Brand in the KMOX Traffic Center.
Well, Maria, it's getting better, but there's still some delays out there. This traffic report's a service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Westbound 70, it looks a lot better. Just Cypress, through the Cypress area towards Lindbergh, a little busy, not bad. Westbound 64, though, is still on the brakes from Boyle out to about Clayton Skinker, and it's still jammed in St. Charles County from Winghaven past Lake St. Louis Boulevard due to that earlier crash we had in the median. They were still trying to clear. Westbound 44 is a lot better, but it's still slow from Shrewsbury to about the Fleet Station. Then you're in the clear. And southbound 55, a little heavy pocket south of Arsenal to Gasconade, and still bogged down from Weber, pretty much bumper to bumper most of the way down past Revis Barracks. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. I'm Roger Brand in the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Just a quiet, chilly day across St. Louis, and as we head into the evening, our temperatures will drop fairly quickly out of the 40s, but let's think it drops into the low 40s by, let's say, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. 28 for the overnight low with partly cloudy skies. Thursday, sunny, increasing winds in the afternoon, a cold start, but a little better Thursday afternoon, 59. Thursday night, clear skies, 38. Friday, sunny, 64 Friday afternoon, so it's a little bit warmer, but the winds will be kind of gusty Friday afternoon. The weekend is dry, fair amount of sunshine. Each day, 68 degrees Saturday and Sunday. Showers coming in here Monday night, and into early Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
44 degrees right now in St. Peter's. In Florissant, it's 43. In downtown of the Arch, we have 44 degrees. I'm Maria Kina, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports. Okay, boys, here we go. Welcome to the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goes mid swings and he hits a drive.
He hits a slammer. Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Here we go. Now, Matt Pauley on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
All right, man, let's get going here.
Here we go. Let's go. On a Wednesday night, we welcome you into another edition. It's the Graybar Sports Open Line here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Happy for the next 2 hours. We'll take you till 8 o'clock this evening as we've got a fair amount to get into. We'll talk some City SC soccer. We'll talk Blues hockey. We'll talk college football, the college football playoff rankings coming out yesterday around this time. Guests tonight include Charles Boehm, national writer, MLSsoccer.com. He's going to join us in about 10 minutes. Bill Binder from the Sporting News, who covers college football. Joe Roderick's going to join us at about 7:20 or so. We'll talk baseball with him. And a just added guest here over the last few moments. We're going to talk with our own Tom Ackerman at 6:45, 6:50-ish. And the reason we're going to talk to Tom, unfortunately, and I say that because of the reason surrounding it, not that we're talking to Tom. We just got word in the last 10 to 15 minutes. You heard it during the top of the hour news here on KMOX. Legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight has passed away at the age of 83. A complicated legacy when you consider some of the off-court stuff that he was connected with, but one of the all-time great basketball coaches, one of the all-time great basketball tacticians, and someone who did he change the game of college basketball? I think he did. And a larger than life persona and somebody who did things his way. And for most, you either loved him or you hated him. And, but if you loved him, you loved him. And I think more importantly, if he loved you, you were very much loved. And he has passed away. And, you think about the area that we live in. We're not that far. There's a lot of Indiana alum around the St. Louis area, and obviously Big Ten country, having the University of Illinois not that far away. He was coaching in the Big 12 when Missouri was in the Big 12. So yeah, I don't know if I'm making any sense in all this. We found out again, 15, 20 minutes or so. And for some reason, I didn't have any personal connection. I had zero personal connection to Bobby Knight. But there's some times where people pass away and it kind of punches you in the gut. And this is one of them. Sports producer extraordinaire Matt Pajeski back in the house after a few days off. Matt, I have been thrown out of a room by Bobby Knight twice in my life. The first time I was doing student radio at K-State, and I was in Lubbock, Texas, and I didn't know anything. Some people might argue that I still don't know anything. I did not know anything. We got to the arena. I was doing a women's game. It was a Kansas State, Texas Tech women's game that we were broadcasting on student radio. And I got to the arena early to set up all the equipment. I got there way too early, and I just walked in like I owned the place, not knowing anything. And the Texas Tech men's basketball team was practicing, and nobody was allowed in the gym. So we didn't think anything of it. And I still remember I go and I'm setting up the equipment, and Coach Knight was not happy at all that we were in his gym. And he came over and kind of started yelling at us. Who do you guys think you are? And he got us out of there. So then there was an SID around, and they were able to kind of tell us what was going on, and we waited that one out. So I remember that. And then another time when I was covering a K-State men's game, we were waiting for K-State had won the game in Manhattan, and we the assembled media were waiting in the area that he was going to do his post-game media session, and he was giving it. He was giving it to his team, and our media spot was just one wall across from the locker room. And he informed the SID at Texas Tech that we were making too much noise in the media area, and we were all asked to leave that area until he was ready to talk to us. So I have been thrown out of a room by Bobby Knight twice in my life. And that's as close as I've really gotten to having any type of personal connection with him. But man, he is going to, I was glad. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. It was in the last couple, 2-3 years. He kind of made up with the folks at Indiana, because that was a split. That was a divorce that was heated, and everybody was angry at everybody. And he made it very clear how he felt about the folks at Indiana, and he was never going to go back there. And then, was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember. We'll talk with Tom Ackerman about this later on this hour. He went back and he addressed the team, and he was honored on the floor in Bloomington. And man, now, especially now that he has passed away, I'm so happy that he got to have that moment in Bloomington before he passed, because for everything that he did at Texas Tech, for everything that he did, say, at Army, when you think about Bobby Knight, you think about Indiana, you think about Hoosiers basketball, you think about the national championships, you think about the undefeated seasons. So I'm glad that happened before he passed away, but he passes away at the age of 83. We do have a lot to get into here on the program. Charles Bohm is going to join us next, national writer, MLSsoccer.com. We'll get his thoughts on the City SC Sporting Kansas City series and how that's going. We'll be joined by him coming up in just a moment or so. It's Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. It's hard to believe, but the holidays are right around the corner. Can you imagine the joy on Abuela's face when you sit down for the holiday meal and chat with her in Spanish? Or drop off some cookies at your neighbor's house and chat in Mandarin? With Rosetta Stone, it's possible. Rosetta Stone's immersive method helps prepare you for conversations in the real world, whether that's connecting with friends and family or taking the trip of your dreams. The Rosetta Stone Unlimited subscription provides access to all 25 of Rosetta Stone's languages forever, so you don't have to pick just one. And their award-winning app features immersive 10-minute lessons to fit into even the busiest day. Plus, every subscription now comes with access to live lessons, where expert tutors teach you fun new words related to local holidays, cultural traditions, food and drink, and more. Don't wait. Visit rosettastone.com/radio today to score 50% off now through November 22nd. That's rosettastone.com/radio.
Love being able to tell you about my friends over at Petland. I really mean that, because I know for me, I know for the Pauley family, I don't know what life would be like if we were not a dog family. We've got a couple dogs in our home, and we've had them for quite some time. And it's just they are members of the family. And I know non-dog owners hear people say that and then kind of shake their heads at us. I'm telling you, once you bring a puppy into your home, they become a member of your family. And if you've been thinking about doing that, maybe the kids are bugging you a little bit and you're like, okay, now is the time that we should go ahead and do this. First and foremost, get on over to Petland's website, petlandstl.com. You can see their full selection of puppies. They've got pictures of all the cute puppies. They've got the French Bulldogs. That's the favorite breed in America. And this is very important. They only work with American Kennel Club registered breeders, not puppy mills. So get to petlandstl.com. Visit one of their 2 locations, Ronald Reagan Drive in Lake St. Louis. They're also open at Fenton Crossing on Old Smiser Mill Road and Fenton. Again, online, petlandstl.com.
Football and basketball seasons are in full gear, and BetQL is ready to help you win more consistently this year. BetQL is an absolute game changer if you're looking to find trends to help you win. Make smarter bets on spreads, totals, player props, and more. BetQL has already helped over 300,000 people with powerful analytics and community insights. Don't fumble the ball at the goal line or airball any free throws this season. Visit BetQL.com for their free daily analysis today. That's BetQL.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
St. Louis, thank you for choosing Under Law as STL Today's 2023 best law firm. Although our work has always been about you, we are proud yet humbled to be acknowledged by the community we serve and love. At Under Law, we will continue our mission to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, you need the best. Call Under Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
It says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah. We support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AA MCO.
This is America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
This one tonight is done. Final whistle blows before the clearance from Melia can get away. 4-1, Kansas wins at City Park.
That's a sad Joey Zanaboni. We don't get that very often, but that was the case on Sunday night when City SC was on the wrong side of a fairly one-sided decision against Sporting Kansas City. Welcome back in. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. My name is Matt Pauley. We're going to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line right now, and we welcome on to the program Charles Boehm. He covers MLS soccer for MLSsoccer.com. You follow him on Twitter at CBoehm. That's BOEHM. Charles, you've been so gracious with your time all season long here on KMOX. Thank you for continuing to do that as we continue on through the MLS playoffs.
Always a pleasure to be with you, even though a little bit of adversity, which you have to say, as down as the City SC fans may feel right now, to be feeling this way, not until late October into November, is a sign of how good the season's been today.
Yeah, and if they lose in 2 or lose in 3, I certainly think that's a place the fans are going to be able to go back to. I don't think they're quite ready for that right now. They did not play well on Sunday night. The intensity, the aggressiveness was not so much there. That's been part of their DNA, especially at home this year. How does that happen, especially when it's the biggest match of the year?
Well, look, I mean, every team, even the best teams, occasionally have a night where they just face plant, right, and nothing goes well. And this team has simply not been in this situation before, and they were playing an opponent who has several times, many times over the last half decade or so, and had a lot of collective experience, and I think a strong game plan. And there's sort of certain specific details that add up to the statistical reality that it's actually very difficult to beat a team 3 times, even 4 times potentially in a season. And that's what this rivalry situation and this series is asking of City SC. But as much debate as there's been and criticism for the most part of the new MLS playoff format, nobody should be loving it more than St. Louis right now, because in the old format, this was it. You were done the other night, and now they've got another shot at it, even though they do have an uphill climb.
Charles, in most kind of North American sports, that you feel a difference when you get to the playoffs. The games are played a little bit differently. That's true in baseball. That's true certainly in hockey. In NBA basketball, the playoffs are very different than the regular season. For folks who are still kind of learning MLS soccer, and soccer is a sport where in most of the biggest leagues, you don't even have playoffs, period. But when we're talking specifically to MLS, how does the game change once you get into the postseason?
Well, I think it's a situation that rewards precision. Mistakes are punished a great deal more harshly than they are in the regular season. The intensity just ratchets up a notch or 3 across the board. And so the little tactical tweaks that you may see, any new wrinkles, any particular matchups, just everything gets amplified, right? If there's a 1v1 that's benefiting one side, it will get exploited quicker and more ruthlessly and repeatedly on the other side. And I think too, the game states start to really weigh heavy. A big factor the other night, in my view, was going down early. And I was looking back at the stats, and City had come back a few times, but they really hadn't been in a situation like this where they had a must-win situation and knockout environment. They didn't have particularly good runs in the tournaments, the cup tournaments this year. And so they didn't have that collective experience of taking that punch and being able to adapt and roll with it and respond.
To that end, they get down 1-0. They tie it. Not long after, they had an opportunity. They don't score, so they would have gone up 2-1. Instead, it stays 1-1, and then Sporting KC goes on to take that 3-1 lead before they get to half. How different is that game if St. Louis has a 2-1 lead?
Oh, it's night and day, and there's an element of coulda, woulda, shoulda there, but that first 45 minutes of a playoff run, it really sets the tone. And I know you hear players and coaches use that phrase just to exhaustion, but there's a reason for it. That opening stretch, and then how you feel and where you're at going into the locker room. I mean, it's just massive, and to take the repeated blows that they did in that stage just really put them behind the 8 ball.
Charles Boehm is continuing to join us. City has been one team at home, and they've been a little bit of a different team on the road. They've been so dominant at home. Now they're in a spot where they have to find a way to pick up a road win. What do they do to find who they've been at home most of the season and put that kind of effort on the field out in Kansas City?
Yeah, I think there's going to be. I think Bradley Carnell has got to be doing even more film time than usual. These last few days and going into the weekend, because you've got to try and find matchups you can exploit or new wrinkles you can throw at the opposition, because by now, he and Peter Vermees have faced off so many times that there's so much familiarity. And the question is, can you throw a wrinkle into the mix or and figure out more quickly in the run of play, right? Let's say you have to do that in the other direction. If Vermees has a little bit of a wrinkle, then you've got to be able to sniff it out quickly and adapt. And I think that's just, again, not something that anybody at City SC has had to do to the volume that Sporting Kansas City have done, just that collective know-how. So So I'm thinking that there'll be some attempts to change maybe the pressing triggers. I think City SC has got to try and set the tone with the physicality. The big advantage they've had all year is dictating the tempo and the tone sort of the matches that they're involved in. And you can create the circumstances to dictate terms from there, but it's just going to be a little bit tougher to do on the road.
Do you think a lot was made of the one striker decision in the starting lineup? Do you think we could see a change in that area?
I do, because they've done so well in it before. You have Giacchini, you've got some young legs, I think, that can do that. If you do Klaus and Giacchini up ahead together, you kind of get yourself into a little more of a forward-leaning posture. I think in particular Giacchini is going to be hungry and eager to prove something, going back to his hometown and a little bit of the personal edge that maybe you can get from that. And I think in general, they've got to find that balance between defending with organization and not getting broken down quickly, but also getting the line up high, really compacting the space in which Sporting play and making it hard for them, because they are going to try and build out the back. Sporting KC is so much the opposite of what St. Louis City are. And so we'll see how that kind of particular contrast shapes up and the little details in that first half.
He is soccer journalist Charles Boehm. You read him all over the place, including MLSsoccer.com. Follow him on Twitter at @CBoehm. Charles, thanks so much for the time. I hope you enjoy the continued run of the MLS playoffs, and hopefully City wins at least this weekend and beyond. And we have lots more reasons to bring you on moving forward.
Likewise. Hope everybody out there enjoys it. Have a good night.
All right. Very good. That's Charles Boehm joining us on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line. We appreciate him taking a few moments with us. Yesterday, the initial college football playoff rankings that come out for Missouri, I think they're in a pretty good spot. There's a lot of one-loss teams right now in college football. And for Missouri, they come in at number 12. You keep doing where would they be? Where would they be if they wouldn't have lost that game to LSU? A game that they could have won, some would argue should have won. I will ask that question to Bill Bender. He's going to join us in just a moment. We'll talk all things college football with him in just a moment as we roll on with the Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-238-7360. That's 314-238-7360. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-221-6319. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-221-6319.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-221-6319. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-221-6319, or go to oxcarcare.com.
This is the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
A Graybar Sports Open Line does continue right here on KMOX. We're very happy to welcome on via the Quiver River Electric Guest Line. Covers college football for the Sporting News. He is Bill Bender. You follow him on Twitter at BillBender92. Bill, thank you for taking some time. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, real quick, before we get to college football, and I hope I'm not breaking this news to you, we just learned a little while ago that legendary Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight, of course, spent some time at Texas Tech as well, had passed away. You are very connected to the college athletics world. I'd be remiss if I didn't get your thoughts on that breaking news of the day.
That's sad. I mean, obviously any kid he went to Ohio State, and I grew up in Ohio, and, legendary Big Ten figure. I mean, obviously a lot of controversial incidents, but we don't need to concentrate on them today. I will tell you this. I coach youth basketball, and we run a variation of Indiana's offense with the back cuts and some of those things. So, I mean, as a basketball X's and O's guys, getting guys to play hard, playing man defense, one of the best ever, and obviously one of the largest figures in college basketball history.
Yeah, and being in St. Louis is a lot of Big Ten folks in St. Louis. So certainly something that I think is catching a lot of people off guard today. No real way to shift, but let's go ahead and jump into yesterday's college football playoff rankings that were released. I always find it interesting when the committee makes it look a little different than the AP poll and the coaches poll. Those two polls have gone Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, 1, 2, 3 for a while. The committee comes up with Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan. Not that it really matters in the grand scheme of things, but what's your takeaway when you see that looks a little bit different?
You sound about in agreement with me that you could probably slot any of those three in any of those spots, and then we can have a conversation about it. But the committee's honoring Ohio State's resume, and that's fair. I mean, the record of their opponents is the best among the 5 remaining unbeatens. The wins against Notre Dame, at Notre Dame, against Penn State were nice wins. They have Marvin Harrison. They're not always pretty, but I like them at 1. I like Georgia's body of work, obviously, and their schedule's heating up starting this week. And then Michigan is demolishing teams, but I think they need to see them play a ranked team first, and that's not going to happen for another couple weeks.
Yeah, it's not, and it's a weird year this year because it feels like generally the separation between the great teams and the good teams, or maybe at 3 or 4 or 5, you can make the argument that 8, 9, 10 deep, there's not a whole lot separating the top of college football right now. Would you agree with that?
Agree. Like, we could do a 12-team playoff starting right now, and it might be fun to figure out because all the way down around that Ole Miss area, Mizzou's obviously got an opportunity this weekend. If you've got 1 loss or less and you're in that top 15, what's the difference? And you bring up an interesting point. The last couple of years, I was kind of resigned to the fact this time of year that Georgia's going to win it. If not Georgia, it'll be Alabama. I don't feel that way this year. I think Ohio State, Michigan, even Florida State, some of those Oregon and Washington out of the Pac-12, and depending on when they catch you, they could beat you. And there's not a huge separation. I still think there's a split between that top 3 and everybody else.
So you look at Ohio State, Georgia, and Michigan as kind of being that upper echelon, and your line is right there in front of Florida State?
Yes, but not a big one.
Yeah.
Because Florida State has an impressive win against LSU, and Florida State has taken care of business. Now the problem for Florida State moving forward a little bit is the ACC only has one other unbeaten team or one other ranked team, Louisville. They don't have any other unbeatens and not a lot of meat left on Florida State's schedule. So and you know how the committee acts, where if a team slips up, it's easy to put them back. Florida State, of those remaining unbeatens, has the worst. Their opponents that are left have the worst record.
Missouri, some would argue, should have beat LSU. They certainly could have beat LSU. If we were talking about an 8-0 Missouri team right now, where do you think they would be slotted in at the moment?
Such a good question. 4.
Really?
I think they would be 4 or 5. I think maybe 5 or. Okay, now you got me spinning a little bit because that's such a good question. I would say between 4 and. I would put them at 5. I think they would be between Washington and Florida State. I think they would give them credit for that LSU win, which would be the same as Florida State. And they've been really good this year. And one of the reasons why I love that trio of offensive playmakers they have. Cook has been great. He's been accurate. Luther Burden, absolute stud, always open. And then Schrader running the football. And they're going to play with a lot of confidence this weekend. Can they go down to Sanford Stadium and win? I'm not sure. I thought that line looked high at first glance. They're going to play a motivated Georgia team where Kirby Smart's going to be banging in their head for the next 96 hours that they're number 2 and they're disrespected. And nobody is better at that psychology somehow than Kirby Smart. But, I think it makes for a great game.
Last year, Missouri gave Georgia everything they could handle in a game that was played in Columbia. Does that play into this at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching that game last year because as writers, we have to be in position when one of those big upsets happen. And one of the things that Mizzou did in that game, and I know you watched it too, they got after Stetson Bennett. They really did. They got after him. Now, Georgia knocked it out with a couple late touchdown drives, but if they can back and maybe force a couple turnovers and make him uncomfortable without Brock Bowers. I know it didn't matter last week, but Brock Bowers is such a difference maker. He took over the Auburn game when push came to shove there. And if they can protect Cook just enough, get the ball out quickly and not turn the ball over, chance to make that a fourth quarter game. I've been on record for a couple weeks saying of these 3 games for Georgia, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, I thought Missouri would be the toughest challenge. I'm not saying I know what radio station I'm on. I'm not pandering. I really thought that all along.
Bill Bender, who covers college football for the Sporting News, continuing to join us. He's one of the best out there covering college football. If the top 4 does not end up being the top 4 as it is right now, what is that team that currently is on the outside looking in that you think has the best chance to be in that college football playoff?
I think Oregon's really dangerous. That's hardly original because a lot of people see that too. The way that I still feel like a rematch with Washington, I would probably pick Oregon to win. I was very impressed with how they went into Utah. I wasn't impressed with some of the coaching decisions in that Washington game, especially late in the half when they refused to take points. But that's life when you get in those big games, and I think Dan Lanning will learn from it. And I haven't been impressed with Washington since. The last 2 weeks, they did not play well against Arizona State. Arizona State really got after Penix a little bit. They played great against Stanford last week defensively. So 1 week, the offense was a little off. Then they play USC this week in the Coliseum. I think they're going to get the best version of Caleb Williams going against them with Penix on the other sideline because this is total theory, but with the NFL draft implications with those 2 quarterbacks.
Alabama is still lurking, and we know Alabama is Alabama. Is there still a path for them if they make their way all the way to the SEC championship game and win that? Are they in the college football playoff?
Well, I think if you're in everybody else, you're rooting against that scenario because I think that would be one way to get the SEC East champion and Alabama into the playoff. So if you're the Ohio State Michigan loser, for example, or you're Penn State and you're kind of lurking in there, that would be bad for you. But they keep defying reality. Like I watch them, and in the first half, it's ugly. And Jalen Milroe will piece together a couple good drives and then have a couple bad drives. They don't really run the ball that great. And this is good. Dallas Turner's really good. They get a lot of tackles for loss. Their secondary's been better. They've cleaned up the penalties. And Nick Saban finds a way. I mean, you and I know that. We've been watching this for how long? Since, he was at LSU. They find a way to hang around and stay in this national championship picture. They're like Dracula or whatever Halloween villain you want to use.
He is Bill Bender, covers college football for the Sporting News. You follow him on Twitter at BillBender92. Bill, it's been a while since we've talked. I used to talk to you in a former role all the time, and I'm so glad that I was able to talk to you, and hopefully we can get you on KMOX here fairly often moving forward.
Anytime. Just give me a call. And, once again, just want to pass on condolences to the Knight family. That's certainly that. I didn't see that before we came on. So, it's really good.
Bill Bender joining us here on the program, and I clearly caught him off guard on the news about Bobby Knight that we opened up with, as we learned just a little while ago. We learned just before we came on the air that the legendary basketball coach had passed away at the age of 83. When we come back in our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Tom Ackerman, he is a proud graduate of the University of Indiana, and I know he has a lot of reverence for Coach Knight. It's hard for me to talk about people the stature of Bobby Knight when I don't have that emotional connection, when I don't have that personal connection. And when we have an opportunity to talk to somebody who does, I want to take that opportunity, because Bobby Knight is as big of a figure in the history of college basketball as you can find. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we are going to be joined by Tom Ackerman. We'll get his thoughts on the passing of legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight. We'll do that in just a moment as we roll on with the Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
CASA of St. Louis needs your help. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Advocate for the best interest for a child in foster care today. Change a child's story. Learn how you can help at stlcasa.org.
Your home or business is a reflection of you. Now, if you're looking to take it from middling to sizzling, you need the help of your local CertaPro painters and the power of Pro. That's CertaPro's power of listening to your needs and delivering a customized project plan, and the power of doing the job right, on time, and within your budget. Contact CertaPro painters today at CertaPro.com. The power of Pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
You couldn't pick a worse time to sell your home. Sure, your home is worth a small fortune right now, but are you really going to swap your 2 or 3% current interest rate and pay 7 or 8% interest on a new house? No way. You don't have to with the Get Paid and Stay program from Truehold. This is ingenious. With the Get Paid and Stay program, Truehold will buy your home now at its best current value. You bank the cash and stay in your home until interest rates come back down, or as long as you like. It's your call. Plus, you won't have to pay property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold pays those expenses. Learn about Truehold's Get Paid and Stay program. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
What defines us is who we are as a collective group and how we progress and gain momentum through the season.
The Coach's Corner with St. Louis City coach Bradley Carnell. Mondays at 9:35 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
The Gray Bar Sports Open Line does continue here on KMOX. We're about to go to the Quiver River Electric Guest Line. We always enjoy being able to talk to our sports director here at KMOX, Tom Ackerman. But we're talking to him today for reasons that we would rather not be talking to him about. Legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight has passed away at the age of 83. Tom is a graduate of the University of Indiana and wanted to bring him on. Tom, thanks so much for taking a few moments with us today. How are you?
Matt, thank you very much. Yeah, tough day for sure.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when you heard the news?
That my life changed the day that I met Bob Knight, and I am not the only one. That I have so many people that I know, and there are thousands of people that had their lives altered by Coach Knight in the best of ways. He took great care of me as a student at Indiana after my father had passed away. And I started to think about the fact that all the people and experiences that I've been able to go down this particular path of life because I met Coach Knight. Short story is that through a mutual friend, Larry Ziegler, a St. Louis native who played on the PGA Tour, he and my dad were great friends. He was playing in a celebrity tournament in Colorado. He told us when we met up with him that day to make sure to say hi because he was playing with Bob Knight. They were great friends. And as a 16-year-old kid, I was a caddy here in St. Louis, and I was asked to caddy for Coach Knight. So we were able to spend some time together. And through that day, he asked if he could set up a tour of campus for me. And I toured Indiana University, and I fell in love with the place, and I was successfully recruited by Bob Knight. I ended up not becoming a student manager, which I think was his aim at that time. That's what I was told. I ended up becoming a broadcaster at the school, and I was in awe of his confidence. He gave me a great confidence, great understanding of basketball, but it was his kindness and loyalty in a very tough time in my life. My dad had died of a heart attack right before I went to college, that he and I are forever intertwined. And so, there's so many things about his career as a basketball coach. And of course, in my opinion, he's the greatest to ever do it. But it was the behind the scenes things that people don't know that I think made him very special.
During this entire show, I haven't brought up the chair toss and things like that because I always lamented the fact for him that those are the things that he, in large part, was known for, the way it ended at Indiana and some of the other things. And obviously, that's part of his legacy. I'm not trying to sweep that under the rug. But to your point, when you do talk to people who had personal relationships with him, the impact he made on people is incredible.
He had a very short temper. That's very well known, and he did it in the public eye. And those very close to him didn't really enjoy that he did that. But you know what? As he always said, like the Frank Sinatra song, he did it his way. I did it my way. And he, there's no denying that his teams played discipline. He really pioneered the motion offense that you see in basketball today. Countless coaches in Indiana wanted to run an offense and a team like him. His players graduated. And while things got tough behind the scenes, in terms of that discipline, he was known as the general. He had their utmost respect throughout the rest of their lives. He made boys into men, and he took great care in the university. It did not end well there, but I'm so thankful that he did come back to Assembly Hall and was honored before his health really deteriorated, because he did give so much back to Bloomington, where he did live the final years of his life. Gave so much back to the university and did a lot of it, Matt, behind the scenes that no one to this day know. I mean, he did so much without cameras, without attention, without press releases. He did it because he cared about academics and athletics.
I was going to ask you about that reconciliation. He was honored. He spoke to the team. That was something that at one point looked like was never going to happen based off his relationship with that university when he was forced out. I have to think that moment, especially now that he has passed, brings a lot of peace to people who care about the Hoosiers.
You know, Indiana University basketball will go on for years, and it was there years before Bob Knight. I mean, they won 2 national championships before he set foot on that campus. He won a national championship as a player at Ohio State. He was a terrific coach at Army, Coach Mike Krzyzewski. Think about the impact he had on his career.
Mm-hmm.
He went on to coach at Texas Tech and actually was successful there. But make no mistake about it, from 1971 to 2000, Bob Knight won 3 national championships, went to 5 Final Fours, won 11 Big Ten titles. He is Indiana University basketball. And to have him on that campus and in that moment, we're all very grateful that we got to experience that, and most importantly, that he did.
Tom, I know this is emotional. I appreciate you being so willing to share your thoughts, and we can just hear it in your voice how you're feeling. So, and on a night where you've got some family stuff going on, for you to take a few moments to come on Sports Open Line and share your thoughts and just memories of Coach Knight, I really, really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the call, Matt, and I thank you for thinking of me. And I do want to say that there is no question that the stories are going to continue about Coach Knight. And that's the thing about life, is that, we can continue to celebrate people and what they did and their impact on sports, society, whatever walk of life that you're in. And it is about what you do in your life for others and the legacy that you leave. And I can assure you that Robert Montgomery Knight did that very thing for a lot of people, and didn't ask for a lot in return, quite honestly. And he was, just happened to go on to have one of the great careers in basketball history. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Tom, thank you so much. Thanks, buddy. That's KMOX Sports Director Tom Ackerman. Yeah, the moment I heard the news, I wanted to get Tom on, and I didn't know the entire. I knew that Tom had a relationship with Coach Knight. That story that he told about being on the golf course and getting to know him and being recruited by him, I didn't know that until just now, which makes me that much happier that I was able to get Tom on the program and just bring a little bit of texture to the news of the day, that a legendary college basketball coach, a legendary figure in the history of sports in the United States of America, and Bob Knight has passed away. And I just, it's weird. Like I didn't go to Indiana. I never met Coach Knight outside of being in a room with him a couple times for media type stuff. But there was zero personal relationship with him. I can't tell you why I feel this way, but I just keep thinking back to that moment that he was honored at Indiana when he returned. And I'm just so grateful that happened. And again, I don't know why I feel this way. Sometimes you're in these moments where you feel a certain emotion and you're going, why, what, why do you care so much? Why do you feel this way? But I know, I have an idea. I can sense what he gave to that university during his career there. And it didn't end the way he'd like it to end. Most times in sports, it doesn't end the way you want it to end. He was able to go back. And now when we look, on the final chapter of his life, he was able to go back and reconcile. And that's a really, really important thing. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Indiana wins the championship. Keith Smart is the hero.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Discover something different in St. Genevieve in November. It's the Pecan Palooza Street Festival this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. in downtown St. Genevieve and the Deja Vu Spirit Reunion at 5:30 p.m. all in historic St. Genevieve. Check out the craft and food vendors, free concerts, kids games, historic military vehicles, historic figures, and so much more. Find out more at visitstgen.com/events. St. Genevieve, Missouri, where history is just the beginning. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Saturday and Sunday, November 4th and 5th. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Hi, this is Steven from Creve Coeur Camera and the new owner of the Photo Pros. Recently, I lost both my parents to Alzheimer's, but I'm really lucky. My parents took hundreds of movies, pictures, slides, and kept their parents' photos too. So we, the Photo Pros, are digitally preserving all of these. Bring us your family history to be saved for the next generation and gift your family their history this holiday. Everything stays in St. Louis. Call 314-567-3456 or Google the Photo Pros or even Creve Coeur Camera.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Staples.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. One of college basketball's winningest coaches, Bobby Knight, has died at 83. CBS's Stacey Lynn.
Smart takes the shot. Indiana wins the championship.
Coach Bob Knight was one of the most successful coaches in college basketball history.
More than anything else, I really enjoy this game.
Start moving, Black, move!
The General, as he was known, won 3 NCAA national championships during his career, leading the bench for Army, Indiana, and Texas Tech. But what most people think of when they think of Knight is his hot temper on and off the court.
When my time on earth is gone and my activities here are past, I want they bury me upside down and my critics can kiss my ass.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Hundreds of foreign nationals, including some Americans, were able to get out of the Gaza Strip when the Rafah gate between Gaza and Egypt was opened. But there were also more Israeli airstrikes on a Palestinian refugee camp in northern Gaza a day after scores were killed in the same location. CBS's Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv.
The U.S. State Department says around 400 U.S. citizens are still trying to get out of Gaza, but more Americans are expected to leave tomorrow, plus their families. U.S. citizen Fatih Abu al-Hassan is still trapped.
No water, no food, no shelter, nothing.
President Biden calls for a humanitarian pause in the Israel-Hamas war to, he says, get prisoners out. Just in, the House rejects a bid to expel Congressman George Santos from office as lawmakers await findings of an ethics probe and criminal trial. President Biden takes his economic message to rural America.
The president says it's about basic fairness.
My plan is about investing in rural America. It's about something else as well. It's about restoring pride to rural communities that have been left behind for far too long.
Speaking at a family farm in rural Minnesota, Mr. Biden said America's family farms have been squeezed by big corporations, making it difficult to achieve the American dream.
Let's make sure that those who want to stay in the farm can stay as long as they want because they make a good, decent living.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News.
No classes for public school students in Portland, Oregon. Teachers are on strike. Becky Pringle with the National Education Association.
We are not going to allow them to continue to go to school without the resources they need. We're not going to allow them to continue to go into classrooms where there are 33 students and they can't get the individual attention they need.
Portland Public Schools says the union's proposal would result in more spending and potential staff cuts. This is CBS News.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 7:03, we have clear skies and 41 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. I'm Maria Aquino. Our top story this hour.
KMOX is covering breaking news.
Right now, Ladue police are searching for at least 3 suspects wanted for an attempted carjacking and a firing of a shot into the victim's car on Ladue Ridge Road around 4:10 this afternoon. Police described the suspects as 3 males wearing ski masks. One was in dark clothing, the other in a light blue hoodie and jeans. Police are looking for a charcoal gray minivan with the rear window covered by either a piece of cardboard or a brown towel. If you have any information, you're asked to call 911 or Ladue Police. Speed bumps, a topic of conversation after a driver struck a pedestrian in a crosswalk.
That's the accident outside of Crown Candy Kitchen with the driver apologizing while driving around the victim. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge is picking up where his previous alderman for that ward left off, taking his bill and funding it with Ward Capital.
My predecessor, James Page, last session passed Board Bill 150 that will be installing speed humps in various spots of the old 5th Ward, now 14th Ward. And one of those spots was right outside of Andy's.
Page's legislation puts a speed hump on St. Louis Avenue, while Alderman Aldridge also passed legislation which would put speed humps on 14th and is awaiting the mayor's signature. He adds that due to the cold, construction of these speed humps won't happen until the spring. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis County seniors can now freeze their property taxes after a new law takes effect. County Executive Dr. Sam Page did not sign or veto the bill, allowing it to become law after 15 days with no action. County Councilman Dennis Hancock tells KMOX he is disappointed in a lack of leadership from Dr. Page regarding the legislation.
I would have hoped that he would have weighed in at some point in time, either for it or against it, with and his reasons for not supporting it. But we haven't heard anything.
Seniors with property value below $550,000 qualify for the tax freeze. At 7:05, another check of our forecast with Dave Murray.
Just plain chilly for any evening plans, but basically clear skies, going partly cloudy later on tonight. Evening temperatures taking a drop through the 40s. 28 will do it for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny skies, cold start. A little better Thursday afternoon, 59 with increasing wind. Thursday night, clear skies, 38. Friday, sunny. 64 for the high on Friday, but the winds will be kind of gusty Friday afternoon, upper 60s and sunny over the weekend. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's 41 in St. Peter's, 41 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch, it's 41 degrees. I'm Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Back at it as we get into hour number 2 of the program. We've got a lot coming up. We will talk with our guy, Joe Roderick, in about 15 minutes. We'll talk baseball with him. World Series game number 5 is going to get started in mere moments. We'll keep you updated on that as we go through the course of the program. We'll talk some Blues hockey before we get out of here this hour. And our guy, Brad Young, we got a lot of our guys. If you're my friend, you're my guy. So I say our guy. You can be a friend of the program. You can be our guy, whatever it might be. But our guy, Brad Young, is in for At Your Service tonight from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So hopefully he will make his way into the KMOX studios at around 7:50, 7:45 or so. And we'll talk with him about who knows what, and we'll find out what he'll have on his show coming up this evening. City SC back on to the training field earlier today as they are getting ready for a must-win matchup when they take on Sporting KC coming up on Sunday. So if you listen middays here on KMOX, you hear Chris and Amy. And Chris Ranji has this belief, and I don't per se agree with him, but at the same time, I understand the pathway in which he took to get to his belief. And the Chris Ranji belief is that in a 7-game series, game 6 is better than game 7. And the reason Ranj thinks that, there's multiple reasons, but one of the reasons he thinks that is because there is an opportunity for the series to come to an end, but also the stakes are different. In a game 7, both teams are playing to win the series. Without a doubt, that's it. You're done after 7 games. Where in a game 6 situation, the two teams are playing for two very different things. One team is playing to win the series. The other team is playing to extend the series. And just the fact that there's different things at stake can make things interesting. So again, I don't think I agree with them. I think I'd still take the game 7 over the game 6, but I don't think it's a crazy thought that he has. Well, in a 3-game series, a game 2 is a game 6 because those are the stakes. And game 2 of a 3-game series for City SC coming up on Sunday. If City wins, they force a game 3. If Sporting KC wins on Sunday, they advance in the MLS Cup playoffs. So different stakes for the two teams, and certainly an interesting matchup coming off just a not very good performance for City on Sunday night. And now they have to go get a road win just to try to force the series back to St. Louis. City's coach, Bradley Carnell, did meet with the media earlier today. We're going to have some fun with audio, and we're going to go through a lot of what he had to say. And we'll start with just kind of the basics. He said that the team absolutely will try to play better in game 2.
We're not going to, fall into a hole of overthinking the game. We know we didn't bring our best, and we've just been figuring out collectively how to rectify the wrongs. And we've been challenged now in a moment that we haven't really been challenged in the whole season. So, but every time we've had these many roadblocks or speed bumps, we've found a way. And I think that's what the group's excited to do. Is to look forward to a way of how we can go at them with our DNA in mind, with our principles. We know we didn't give our best. We know, it was very passive, very cautious, and our best games we've thrown caution to the wind. The less that there was on the line before in the regular season, the better it was for us. And now we just have to have that same mentality in this next game.
When you go into a situation like this, you don't want to completely forget what happened in game 1, but you also want to be able to move on from game 1. But Carnell did say that there are things you can learn from that first game.
Listen, I think Kansas had their passing accuracy. Normally they're at like 90%, which means they keep the ball a lot. They didn't keep the ball a lot. It was down to 68%. So we look at those things and they kind of lulled us into the type of a game, and we have to learn out of that. And, that's where, the game will be won and lost is who figures it out sooner. They figured it out sooner this time. We're going to make sure we want to do it on the reverse end now and turn the table.
Carnell is confident that he's going to get a good response from his team coming out of that game 1 and going into the second game.
Credit to the group. They've always found a way. We've always found a way, through sometimes not overthinking it, sometimes doing more videos, sometimes doing less videos. Sometimes I might not need to say something. They figure it out themselves. Sometimes I might need to step in, or then it's not my voice, it's somebody else's voice. So, we've always found this little balance and rhythm to what's needed in certain moments. And now is one of those moments. We have full support from everybody, and that's the exciting bit. We have the fans on board, we have the ownership group on board, we have the staff on board, we have the players who believe. So again, for us, it's a glitch in the system, and we just need to almost hit a hard restart,
It's a glitch in the system. You need a hard restart. It's like the movie Office Space. We fixed the glitch. Hopefully they're able to do that. Fix the glitch in game number 2, which Carnell says is a great opportunity for his team.
100%. Especially playing, across, at our rivals. This is what it comes down to. And we've proven, over many stretches of the season that we can play away, that we can be competitive, that we can, the series, whether it was 10-1 or 3-1 or 1-0, that scoreline, that's in the bank. They don't get 3 points for it. They just get a W, right? We could I said it early on in the week. We could go there, score, get the W, come back home, and now we have a game here at City Park. So that's our ultimate goal, is to bring it back to City Park.
He does like the way his team is handling this situation of being down 1-0 and not having the best performance in game one.
It's one thing I've never faulted the group. When it's been great, they've never got too high. When it's been, little speed bump here and there, they've never got too low. So, I think we're kind of goofy enough to just get on with the next day, right? We don't have years and years and years and years of experience to either let that hamper our thoughts or inhibit our thoughts in a negative way or even too much of a positive way. So we just get on with it the next day, and we have good characters in this group, and we've always enjoyed the people we work with and the players we work with.
From an on-field standpoint, he does admit that the team absolutely does need more intensity in this Game 2 matchup.
It's something that we don't stand by. This is not our standard. This is not our sort of signature. It's not in our DNA to be passive. So, yeah, we learn and we move on and we grow and we chat and, we watch video. We try and help. And then we've got to, chemistry is a big thing. Current mood, current form. These things are all big things that go into the final sort of equation come Sunday. So, yeah, it's a good job for the staff and myself. It's a good job for each player to put himself on the display this week and to make a case for himself.
Not just in that matchup in game one against Sporting KC, but going back to the final two regular season matches, the final two when they end up losing. This is a team that has not scored a lot of goals here for the better part of the last month or so. Of course, some of that time is spent during the international break, but they just, at time, they've shown the ability to be able to score a lot of goals. We haven't seen that in a while, and Carnell says that they are looking for more ways to produce.
I think having the attackers that we had, with Indy, AZ, Jared, we've had guys that are in the attack and guys that were training well, that are training well. So, I mean, we went out for a lineup that we thought we could get the job done. And like I said, on the knife's edge, these are games that you can win 4-1. If one moment goes your way, the scales tip in your favor. And if one moment doesn't, the scales tip in their favor. And again, a minute later, they score the third, right? And that really takes the sails out of the wind, or the wind out of our sails. And then you can see, how did they react when we were 4-1 up or 3-1 up? How did we react, right? And then you just play like catch up the remainder of the game. So, yeah, that's what it is. And that's how it is. And that's how tight these games are. That's how tight the league is. And I think that's how tight it is currently between us and other teams.
If they are going to score more goals, one player that really needs to be in the middle of that is Klaus. I thought this was really interesting. This is one of those things where it helps me learn something about the game. Carnell was asked about Klaus's production, and Bradley Carnell essentially said that Klaus is doing his thing. He just needs a little bit more help around him.
I think Klaus has been Klaus. So you see the goal scoring, we see the work rate, we see the person, we see the energy. I cannot fault Klaus for anything there. Can we reward him now, in the final third? Can we get him the things on his plate to finish? So again, we go 1-1, we come back in the game. A minute later, we have a big chance with Klaus top of the box. He gets it on frame, forces a save out of Amelia. That could have been the 2-1. And that was the game on the knife's edge, in the home game here a couple of weeks ago. The score is 0-0 at 73 minutes. We score 4 goals in 12 minutes. They score 3 goals in 15 minutes. So it's on the knife's edge, and that's how this game has been. They felt how we felt after the game. They felt it twice, right? We're feeling this now too. So the series is tied for us at 2-2, and now we have another final game, which is exciting.
I'll be curious to see how many City fans make their way in Kansas City, and I'm not super familiar. I just know that when the two teams matched up against each other in the regular season, a lot of City fans found tickets and got in. I don't know if they're very good, especially now it's into the playoffs, that they'll take up all the seats and it's going to be a limited amount of fans that to get there. I know City fans will do everything they can to find tickets for it, and Carnell is hoping that a lot of people from St. Louis are able to make the trek west.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. I mean, the more at home we can feel away from home, that's the best thing. That's all we've ever wanted, and I think the players are responsible for creating that throughout the whole season, So, and the fans have also bought into what we're doing. So, it's a culmination of what have we done on the field to put us on the display? What have the fans done, or what have we shown the fans to get their sort of trust, and support throughout the season, and for them to be part of this. It's our most massive game of the season, and we need everybody for sure.
Last thing from Bradley Carnell, and this doesn't really fit into kind of the narrative, the storyline of everything that we've been talking about and hearing from, but I was really interested in this answer. I'm somebody that appreciates kind of the human side, the human element, the mental side of things, because I think that plays a huge role in sports. And too often we look at athletes as being almost robots, and they're not robots. They're human beings. So City's been really good this year. And with that, there's been a lot of opportunities, whether it's been appearances, whether it's been media opportunities, obviously the way things have been, the environment at City matches, all those things. So if you're a City player, you know that that's happening around you, and you're a human and you're kind of feeling it, and maybe you stick out your chest a little bit and you want to feel that. You do want to be able to feel good when you've accomplished something, but at the same time, you want to be able to continue to push forward. And Carnell talked about that, just the idea of, really staying hungry, finding a way to stay hungry when all season long, everybody's been telling you how great you are.
Whether it's subconscious, because we're not superhumans. We've done robotic things and created, we've acted like robots for 34 match days. But yeah, we're human, and humans are subject to, errors, right? And we know we haven't got a perfect setup. We know we're not perfect, and we know we can always improve. So we've set parameters for us, to learn and grow, and we've achieved a lot of those, and then I think it's just normal, everyone's tapping on the back, everyone's saying how great you are, everyone's writing great things about us, everything's, it's an appearance here, it's a new this, it's a new that, it's whatever. We have to now work that subconsciously and think that, okay, this is good, this is why I'm getting rewarded, how can I now get back to what I am, So it's totally natural, totally normal progression of somebody who was not successful, now is successful. And now as a group, we need to mold that and identify ourselves and be comfortable with that, right? So everyone's created something of value for themselves, right? We've become, I always said comfortable, never satisfied. So, and I would never like to think that we are comfortable and satisfied, because we don't live like that on a day-to-day basis. We push each other. I think you can see there's a lot of good, positive tension within the group today. And that's what we drive and thrive by. We live on these things, so yeah.
It's a really interesting answer from Coach Carnell. And look, I don't even know where that answer plays into the storyline of going into this game against Sporting Kansas City. When I was kind of going through the press conference and deciding what I was going to play and what I wasn't going to play, I was trying to tell a story with the cuts that I played. And that was the first of everything you heard, kind of did that. That was just something a little bit different, but I thought it was interesting and wanted to share that. Thanks, by the way, to our own Jen Cease for being out there at training today to be able to get that audio for us. We appreciate everything she does covering this team. We will take a break, and when we return, we'll talk baseball with another one of our guys, Joe Roderick from Claves Online. He'll join us in just a moment or so. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Gray Bar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onderlaw at 314 or 618-9000000.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, frustrated taking pills that don't work. Here's a message from Paramount Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Paramount Men's Medical Center now, 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history. Stadium Square, 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Book today at CircaLasVegas.com. That's CircaLasVegas.com.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arnado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win.
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City.
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Sports producer extraordinaire Matt Pajeski is working very hard. A Snakes reference, the theme song to Walker, Texas Ranger. That leads us to connecting Snakes, the Diamondbacks, to Rangers, Texas Rangers, baseball, World Series. With that, we go to the Quiver River Electric guest line, and we welcome on to the program Joe Roderick. You see him, you hear him at Claibs Online. You follow him on Twitter at Joe Roderick, and we like bringing him on the program as much as possible. Hi, Joe.
Hey, I didn't hear the Walker Texas Ranger theme, but that's really good. That's top-notch producing right there.
Were you a fan of Walker Texas Ranger back in the day?
I remember it being on back in the day. Like, wasn't it on before Monday Night Raw? So I probably caught the end of a lot of those episodes before Stone Cold Steve Austin and DX came on my TV as a kid.
All right, fair enough. I remember watching it, but I don't know when I watched it. It was a good. I feel
like it was on USA. Like, I probably watched the reruns on USA, unless that was the channel it was on. I don't even remember if that was the original or only channel it was ever on.
I think it was a CBS show. Like, I feel like it was maybe on next to Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, back in the day.
I mean, that feels like it'd be a good Sunday night block.
Yes,
so, yeah. Touched by an Angel, early edition. Like, I feel like you line those four up. And you have yourself a solid lineup during Sweeps Week.
Matt Pajeski always makes fun of me because I still watch like network TV shows. Like you put Law and Order in front of me, you put Blue Bloods in front of me, I'm all in. So that makes sense that I would have been all in on Walker Texas Ranger many, many years ago.
It's been a long time since I've been locked into a network show. I don't know which one. I binge like the same 4 or 5 now constantly. So that's kind of where I am with my TV viewing.
I have an old soul. I just got to watch network TV. Hey, we'll get back to the fun here in just a second, but I've asked this to just about everybody tonight. I got to ask you. I'm going to be kind of throwing you on the spot here. We got the word hour and a half, 2 hours ago that former Indiana, Texas Tech, Army basketball coach Bobby Knight had passed away at the age of 83. And I think as a sports fan, we all have our thoughts about Coach Knight, and obviously people who are closer to him. We had Tom Ackerman on earlier, and he had a relationship with him, and it was really cool to get his thoughts. But obviously, a loss for the sports world from somebody who was really a larger-than-life persona.
He just won. He just won. I mean, he won at everywhere he went. Even when he went to Texas Tech later, they were in the tournament. They were in the tournament. It seemed like every year. And even though he never really he had that run with Indiana, and they never were really dominant. As he started to get older, you look back at how many wins he had. Over 900 wins. He had one NBA star his entire career. Isaiah Thomas is the only NBA star he ever had. So it goes to show how much his players put forth and played for him wherever he went, that he never had these 5-star lottery picks year after year after year. So it shows just how much those guys were willing to play for him. And to an extent, he was Coach K's mentor, and he created, he helped mold the greatest college basketball coach that we've ever seen. So in a way, I mean, if that's his coaching tree and that's his legacy, I mean, it's an amazing legacy that he left behind.
We live in a world right now where it's when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds and you've got a transfer portal and you're coming out of the AAU world and you got these handlers that are telling you how great you are, it's maybe a little bit tougher to be as disciplined as a coach now. And I think there are some coaches out there. I think about a Bill Self, a Frank Martin. I'm a K-State guy. I think about Jerome Tang that does that. I'm sure Dennis Gates at Missouri. It's almost based in love. Like when you are able to hold people accountable and challenge them and be disciplined. In today's world, you really have to do it from a place of love. And I think when Coach Knight was doing it, it was from a place of love. It just wasn't quite as overt as it has to be in today's day of age.
I think it comes down to the fact that he had coachable players. I think maybe that's the way you look at it, that he had a relationship until the fallout at Indiana, where he coached his style and he recruited players that he felt would be able to be coached that way. And his methods worked until, maybe he took it a step too far. And then we saw the downfall there. But again, he went on and he had success elsewhere. But it's a matter of finding coachable players. And I think you see kids today all the way down to 9 and 10-year-olds that already struggle to be coachable. So I think that's what you look for now is those coachable players, and that's why the names that you mentioned, the Bill Self and the Frank Martin, still are able to have success today.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be so challenging to be a Bobby Knight right now and look at the AAU world of basketball, especially from a prep standpoint, where players are going in these games to get theirs, to go viral, to get social media videos, to just going in and playing in these tournaments, trying to get recruited. And for a guy who is so based off the team acting as one, I don't know how I'd be able to reconcile that.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible anymore to have that kind of fiery coach, that kind of coach play or work in today's world. I just think it's been that kind of coach. I feel like has been ruined.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right, and I don't think we're ever going to go back. I don't see a world. There's too much money. the grassroots stuff, everything. There's just the answer to everything is always money, and money has done this to the world of basketball, not just college basketball, but all levels of basketball. And I think you're right on that. All right, let's jump into a little.
It's not. Yeah. Hey, by the way, it's not just basketball either. It's baseball. It's softball. It's football. It's volleyball. It's everything. Boys, girls.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. It's not just one sport. It's everything right now.
Kevin Wheeler and I were having this conversation the other day, and I can't even remember if we were on air or off air when we were having it. But the idea that you know when you're playing summer baseball and travel baseball, a lot of these teams will, fly, a kid will not really be on the team and they'll fly in to take part in the tournament. They're not putting a bunt down to move a runner over. They're not, they're not thinking team stuff. They're thinking about going and getting their knocks and going and making their plays. And I think in the world of sports, because of what's happening at the amateur level, we are losing the team aspect of everything.
Yeah, no, Wheels and I have talked about that before too. We talked about it at a Cardinal game earlier this year. We ran into each other and had the exact same conversation. I know he's at his age is different than the age that I work with, but I already see it at my level. I see other organizations and the way that they'll do things, and it's not conducive to helping a kid make it to college. That's kind of what I feel like is the goal, and then you kind of go from there. That's kind of step one in that. You make them love the game, learn the game, and then kind of slowly take steps. But I feel like so much of it is win now by any means necessary, and there's a lot of people out there ruining a lot of sports for young kids.
Yeah, that's as a dad of a 5-year-old, and I would guess she'll play some sort of sports. Just you grow up with me as a dad, where sports is so much a part of what I do. I would, not that she has to. If she has no interest in sports, that's totally fine. But I would just think that's the world she's growing up in. In all likelihood, at some point, she's going to find herself playing some type of sport. And as it gets more and more competitive, I know for me personally, I'm going to have to be very cognizant that I never do anything that's bad for her or for the team and things like that. I think all parents should be thinking through those things as they put their kids in sports.
You don't strike me as a dad that's running on the field to berate a young official. So I think you're going to be good.
All right. I've got a temper. I have been known to get after people if I need to. I'm the 0 to 60 guy. And then like 30 seconds later, after I've been angry, I feel horrible about it, and I'm just embarrassed.
I don't feel embarrassed. That's my problem with it. I could just be mean.
I don't see you as a mean guy, but all right. Before this isn't why I had you on, but I think this has been certainly an interesting conversation, and probably a conversation that needs to be had more often if we're being honest about it. But before I do get you out of here, let's talk about the World Series for just a moment. Texas leads at 3-1. Impressive win yesterday. They jumped out to the 10-0 lead. Not to dismiss what the Diamondbacks did to get back into it, but they really didn't get back into it. It was just the way the game went, and it really feels like the Rangers are en route to winning this World Series.
Yeah, we were just talking about how Bobby Knight, leader of men around there. How about Bruce Bochy? I mean, an hour before the game, if that, you find out that your biggest run producer and the ALCS MVP is out for the rest of the series. And you go out and you score 10 runs in the first 3 innings. How is that? I mean, just for whatever Bruce Bochy said to the guys, whatever the leaders of the clubhouse had to say to everybody. I mean, that's leadership right there. To not take any time off, to go out there and in 3 innings score 10 runs with 2 outs. That was incredible. I thought for sure the Diamondbacks would be able to get another blow in there and knock the Rangers down and tie it back up in that situation, knowing that you just lost Scherzer. And Scherzer hadn't been that effective, but still, just hearing the words like Max Scherzer is injured, not able to pitch, regardless of how good he has been this year, you're still going to feel that emotionally as a player and as a team. But to lose Adolis Garcia, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And they went out there and, Corey Seager has been amazing. Everybody else kind of picked up for that. They moved Josh Young up in the lineup Travis Jankowski comes and gets 2 doubles right away, after playing how little in these the past month of this postseason play. Everybody just went in there and picked it up. I mean, that was incredible to see them do that last night.
And it's such a key game because if Arizona wins yesterday, all of a sudden the series is even. And if you're the Rangers, you got to win 2 of the final 3 without Adolis Garcia. By the Rangers winning yesterday, all you got to do is win 1 of the final 3. All you got to do is, at the very least, split your 2 games at home. Yesterday, a lot of times we talk about swing games being like game 5s where it's a 2-2. I think yesterday is the swing game because if the Diamondbacks win yesterday, it feels like they have all the momentum.
Not to mention, plus you have Zach Gallen, you have Merrill Kelly going the next 2 days too. So when you have that sitting in front of you and knowing that, I'm sure they're still going. I'm sure Torey Lovullo's going in there and saying, look, the next 3 nights we have our 3 starters going, and we have pitchers that we're confident in these next 3 games. But still, it would have been a lot easier if it was tied 2-2 rather than backs against the wall for all 3 of those games.
He is Joe Roderick. You see him, you hear him at Claibs Online doing videos on just about an everyday basis with folks like Mike Claiborne and Bob Ramsey and others. Joe, we always appreciate you taking some time with us. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Absolutely, Matt. Thank you.
All right, there's Joe Roderick. Follow him on Twitter at Joe Roderick, Joe Roderick. We'll take a break. When we come back, the San Diego Padres had to take out a $50 million loan, and the Blues are in action tonight. We still got to get to all that, plus a conversation with Brad Young. It's all coming up in the next 20 minutes. We got a lot to get to before we call it a night on the Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
When you retire, you'll probably leave a lot behind. The daily grind, the long commute, maybe even the alarm clock. But one thing you will take with you, a tax bill. Oh, and did you know that income taxes could be your single largest expense in retirement?
The good news is Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can help show you ways to pay less to Uncle Sam with the right tax-efficient strategy. Join the All Financial Group for an exclusive educational workshop focusing on taxes in retirement on November 8th. Call 636-230-8824. Let us show you ways to potentially lower your tax bill in retirement. 636-230-8824 or yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote, 800-221-6319. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-221-6319. 800-221-6319 or go to oxcarcare.com.
Get ready, St. Louis. It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for St. Louis. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
This is America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Rolling on with a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Blues are back at tonight. They'll wrap up their 4-game road trip. They take on the Colorado Avalanche. They have not played since last Friday, and that's when they lost to Vancouver by a 5-0 score. They have alternated losses and wins every game this year, and they're stuck in this rut right now of not playing well and then getting a win, and then not playing well and then getting a win. And last time they played, they did not play well. So we'll see if they can get a win tonight. If they do, they would do so against a very good team. They play Colorado. Head coach Craig Berube meeting with the media earlier today, and he talked about the challenge that exists by matching up against the Avalanche.
They're a great team. We all know that. And we've faced them a lot over the years. And, they got great players over there that you got to contain and try to neutralize their speed. And, we got to play a real solid game all around, 200 feet, manage pucks, put them behind them, put them deep, work them in their own zone as much as possible, and then make sure we're not losing numbers up ice. They got a great rush team. Their D are really involved in play, and again, they got some real high-end players.
Is their speed really the biggest thing that jumps out at you from a team perspective for them?
They're really competitive too. I think their top players are highly competitive people. And, when you have that with the speed, and they play a fast game.
Some lineup changes and some line changes going into this game. Maybe, I say most notable, there's a number of changes. So the top line is going to be Pavel Buchnevich, Robert Thomas, and Kasperi Kapanen. And Berube talked about Kapanen today.
Well, I think he's just a great worker for those guys, getting in on the forecheck and getting to the net and things like that. He has the ability to score, but his work ethic is really noticeable night in and night out with his speed. So it's got some real good qualities there as a line.
Kapanen also talked about what it meant for him moving up to that top line.
Obviously, really excited. Still been playing with great players like Schenner and Sauter, but playing with Robbie and Bucci is going to be a fun night.
What's different about playing with these guys versus who you're playing with Schenner?
I don't know if it's that much different. I think I'm going to let Robbie and Bucci, to kind of do their thing. I think they've been playing for a while now, and they got their own chemistry going. And, I'm just going to try to use my speed to kind of get on pucks on the forecheck, and then when I have the puck, just try to make plays and then be at the net.
So Thomas, Buchnevich, and Kapanen the top line, and then the second line, Braden Shen will center Brandon Saad and Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou moving down to the second line. Jacob Vrana is back in the lineup. He's going to be on the third line with Kevin Hayes and Jake Neighbors. Berube talked about what he wants to see from Vrana.
More intensity, hungrier for pucks, and when you're confronted, battling harder for them and competing harder. We know he can score and has a great shot, but there's a lot of other parts of the game that are really important.
How do you kind of work with that? Is it watching video? Is it just having a conversation?
Or? A lot of video and just conversations with him.
What do you like about him in that bumper spot?
Well, he can score. In pucks, we can get that puck to him in that slot area. He's got a great release.
It's a stupid thing to get frustrated about, but I'm getting frustrated by the fact that they are in this weird rut of losing bad and then coming back with a win. I want to see them find some, I guess technically that is consistent because they keep doing the same thing over and over, but I want to see them find some positive consistency where they're able to start stacking some wins together. You can't start that until you get that first win. So if they win tonight in Colorado, it's going to look like it's just another case of them having a tough loss and then coming back, and then we'll have to wait for the next game to see what's going to happen. But Kapanen did say no matter what, it is important to bounce back from that Friday game that they had against Vancouver.
I think our response games have been good. I think we need another one tonight, and it's a hard team. Colorado's a really good team, and we know it's going to be a challenge for us. But we're looking up to it, and the team's feeling good. The atmosphere is great, so it'll be a fun night.
It's the Blues and the Avalanche tonight. Puck drop is scheduled for 8:30. We'll take one more break. When we come back, we are going to be joined by Brad Young. He's in for At Your Service tonight from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We'll get a preview of what he's got going on in the program. Who knows what else we might talk about with Brad. That's in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. It's Grey Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows. TSO
at the Enterprise Center on December 17th. And Tim McGraw at the Enterprise Center, March 22nd, 2024.
My favorite part about going to a country concert is the energy, the people, the community.
My favorite part about going to a country concert is the booze.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published taxpayer bill of rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation. Because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-238-7360.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Before you sell your home, you should know the facts. This is Debbie Monterey. What's your home's true value? Which realtor will get you the most money? And as a seller, is the market still in your favor? I recently spent some time with Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and here's what she told me. The market is still in the seller's favor. However, these next few months before the holidays represent the last prime time to sell your home. Gloria said everyone knows you can't time the real estate market, but you can sell your home in the months that are statistically the most profitable months to sell real estate. For the past 20 years, Gloria Liu has been successfully selling homes in our area. How has she been so successful? Well, she already has the buyers, which allows her to guarantee to sell your home at your pre-agreed upon price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
This is America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's your turn here.
I am the attorney.
There it is, the Law and Order music. That means Brad Young is going to be coming up with At Your Service. Show's going to get rolling here after the 8 o'clock news. He joins us right now for a bit of a preview of At Your Service. How was your Halloween, Brad?
Well, it was good. This year I decided to dress up like a lawyer.
Okay.
And it worked well, except people wouldn't give me candy. So when they wouldn't give me candy, I gave them subpoenas. And that, that wasn't very popular.
Billable hours while you're trick-or-treating. Yeah.
But speaking of Halloween, and Matt Pauley's heard me tell this story before, but in my old neighborhood, there was a guy on the next street over who always gave out 50-cent pieces.
Oh.
Okay? He wouldn't give out candy. So for the better part of a decade, my wife and I would talk about this guy every Halloween. And she would say, well, he's a banker. No, I'm sorry. She would say, well, he's a dentist because he doesn't want to give out candy that's going to hurt people's teeth. And of course, my response to that was, no, you don't know how business works. If he was a dentist, he would be giving out the stickiest candy ever in order to increase his dental practice.
That would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, you got to think like this. So then I said, no, he's not a dentist. He's a banker. And he's given out 50-cent pieces to try to encourage kids to save money. So my wife and I would have these arguments, not arguments, but, this discussion every Halloween. So about the last time that my youngest daughter went over to this guy's house, I finally said to him, hey, look, you don't know me, but I've been coming here with my kids since 1999. And you've always been giving out these 50-cent pieces. My wife says you're a dentist. I say you're a banker. You got to resolve this controversy. And he starts laughing and he says, no, I'm in real estate. I just give out 50-cent pieces because that way I don't have to go buy candy and then have all the candy left over. So see, we were both wrong. We were both wrong.
And that's probably more applicable now. we were trying to figure out where we were going to buy our candy. We went to Target and we grabbed a big bag of candy, and then we saw this thing was like $25. And it was, I say big bag of candy, it wasn't $25 big bag. So we put it back, and we ended up getting it at Costco or Sam's, and it was a little bit of better value there. But the price of candy, like everything in this world, the price of candy is insane.
It's interesting. You didn't know this, but that's one of the topics I'm going to dive into tonight. Why is candy so expensive? And I've got an answer for that.
Okay.
And you're going to have to stick around until the second segment in the next hour.
Is it more than because just everything is so expensive?
It is definitely more than that.
I'm going to sound like an old man here.
Well, you said earlier,
Yeah.
you think old. You said
Yes.
that earlier. You're watching Walker, Texas Ranger.
You know what? Don't judge. Don't
No,
judge, Brad.
I love Walker,
Okay.
Texas Ranger. I love that show. And I especially liked like during COVID when the meme went around of Chuck Norris. It had him drinking from like a 7-Eleven Big Gulp, except it said coronavirus on the cup. and he was drinking it, but looking really cool.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
It's Chuck Norris.
He's like, I can drink coronavirus. It's not going to hurt me.
I went to a restaurant the other day, and there was nothing bad about it was the kind of the fast casual bar and grill from Central Casting sort of thing. It wasn't an Applebee's, but it could have been an Applebee's. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Understood.
And the food's fine. There was nothing wrong with the food, but it wasn't going to win any awards. No problem going back there. Service was good. The burger tastes like every burger you've ever had. That's pretty good. The chicken fingers taste like every chicken. That sort of place.
Got it.
And it's me, my wife, and my daughter. I get a Reuben, and I think a bowl of soup. My wife gets like a fufu salad and some soup, and then we get my daughter some sort of, something off the kids' meal. No alcoholic beverages, no dessert, and the total came out to like $65 or $70. We were at like $80 with tip, or maybe even more than that. And like this meal should have been a $45 to $50 meal.
Yep.
And it was a $70 to $80 meal. And I just like the ability to just kind of on a whim go out and grab a bite with your family at a place that isn't McDonald's. That's getting harder and harder and harder to do.
It is. It really is. And we have COVID to thank for that. Because, and this is the way that, as I've discussed this with economists, this is the best way to describe it. And that is when you have so much government money flowing into whether it's individuals or companies, that's what really drives inflation.
Yeah.
And here's the best way to describe it. You like to play Monopoly? I love Monopoly.
Back in the day.
Okay. Well, nobody plays me Monopoly because I always win. So my family starts teaming up against me, but I still win. But it's my favorite game. Greatest game ever invented. But if you take Monopoly and you say, okay, Boardwalk costs $400, but if you all of a sudden give everybody more money, if the bank just arbitrarily gives everyone more money, then you're going to have to raise the price of Boardwalk, or otherwise it looks cheap, right? Because everyone's got more cash. And so prices rise to match the influx of cash. And that's what we experienced during COVID. And it even hits when you go to your neighborhood burger joint. It should be $40, and instead it's closer to 70.
Yeah, it's and it's not good when people talk about lowering interest. They're not trying to get to negative interest or negative interest rate. They're trying to get it back down to 1 or 2. So the prices we have right now,
2 to 3.
Okay, whatever.
That's the goal.
That's still going up. It's not a negative %. So the world we live in right now, when it comes to how much stuff costs, we're not going back in time on this.
No, it's never going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Never. Now the price increase may slow, but things are never going to be cheap.
Yeah. So, I mean, that meal that I just had that I paid $80 for, that I think I should have paid $50 for, I'm never going to get to pay $50 for in all likelihood for the rest of my life.
But you know what's really irksome, though, and I'm sure this is something that you've talked about with others, is the fact that even when you buy something and they don't serve you, now with the flip screen, you got to pay a tip.
Yeah.
I was someplace tonight. I just bought something. They slid across the counter. They asked me for a tip. And I said, don't eat yellow snow. I'm not giving you a tip.
You didn't. So you did not succumb to the peer pressure of tipping.
No, No, I didn't do that.
All right, fair enough. In like 20 seconds, other than why chocolate is more expensive, what do you have coming up on At Your Service tonight?
We're going to talk about how the Israelis are proceeding in a very legal fashion against Hamas, and we're going to talk about best Halloween costumes.
Other than going as a lawyer when you are a lawyer.
Exactly.
Okay. That's Brad Young. You don't want to go anywhere. He is on the way next. It is At Your Service, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the Wednesday night tradition that is KMOX. Brad Young, you don't want to go anywhere. I'll be back with you tomorrow for another full edition of the Gray Bar Sports Open Line, 6 to 8, right here on KMOX.